Next, we have the private sector banks. Sector banks are those banks which are completely owned by private individuals or business corporations. The government does not play any kind of role in the shareholders. The total shares are either in individuals or business corporations. These banks, that is the private banks, are divided under again two categories. They are the Indian banks and the foreign banks. The Indian banks or the Indian private sector banks are those banks which are incorporated in India under the Indian Companies Act. In the pre-reform period, there were only 24 banks in the private sector. However, the Narsimhan Committee in his first report recommended the freedom of entry of private banks in the financial system, and as such we have now a good number of private banks in our country, out of which the worth mentioning are ICICI Bank Limited, HDFC Banks Limited, Axis Bank, Yes Bank, Federal Bank, etc. These are the bank which are very much common in our state and in our Kokrajhar also. And the next category is that of foreign banks. These banks are basically of foreign in origin, and they are incorporated outside India under the law of the home country but have a place of business in India. In other words, we can say that there is a certain branch of foreign banks in our country. The foreign banks performs mostly the same range of performs as such of the Indian banks. However, they are most active players in the export and import trade and foreign exchange transactions. Some of the important foreign banks operating in our country are Standard Chartered Banks, HSBC Bank, which is whose full form is Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, American Express Banking Corporation, Bank of Tokyo, Deutsche Bank, Citibank, etc.